I prefer to shoot with this camera over this camera, even though this costs way more. And a lot of people would prefer the pictures coming out of here, especially paying clients. They would prefer the pictures coming out of here. I think though there is a market for this look. Maybe not by itself. If someone pays me to take pictures of a function or a wedding, I don't think they would appreciate 80 pictures out of this camera, especially low light pictures and to capture those one-off moments. I would use this for sure. But what if you could incorporate pictures from here? Not just a look, original film pictures. Now, here are some reasons why I prefer to shoot with this. This is way more fun. I have to do way more work and thinking using this camera than this one. In truth, I can point this in a general direction and I will get something that looks reasonably good. And then I could probably pay someone to edit it or do minor edits myself using auto settings in Lightroom. And it will probably look good and most people would say, oh, that's a good picture, right? And I can put on a wider variety of lenses on here and get a wider variety of shots. For sure, has a lot of bells and whistles. Am I using all of them? Not really. I'm shooting the same way for most of the situations, which is in manual, and if it's daytime, I tend to use a flash, and I use continuous autofocus. A couple things that I just don't change them, right? And I probably use this aperture ring sometimes, depending on what I'm doing. All right, now with this bugger. Well, for one, depending on what you're shooting, you have to take your time. So if I'm going to go for fast-paced action, this obviously would not be. Wait a fucking second. Why does it look like that? Does it look like shit? This obviously would not be the camera I would take because I got to take my time with it. So people have to pose and hold it, or I'd have to get ready and ask them to pose, that kind of stuff, right? The controls on here are also way simpler. Way simpler. Just wind it, set your shutter speed, your ISO is fixed unless you want to mess with it. Your compensation, I usually leave that at 0. And that's pretty much it. And then you just have to focus on framing. Now, with a camera like this one, I have to contend with other features that I really don't want to do sometimes when I just want to have fun. So this is just for professional work if I'm getting paid for it. If I want to have fun, I don't want to have to mess with a whole heap of stuff, right? Especially if I'm taking pictures of things that are close by and I have control over the lighting. This is the fun camera, because then I can just focus on getting the focus right and the composition right. Also, the delayed gratification of not having seen your images right away as you would with modern cameras, I think is kind of exciting. And it's okay if some of them are garbage. In truth, sometimes when I'm out taking pictures and I have the luxury of taking, say, 100 pictures, and maybe the keep rate is 40%, which is pretty high in my opinion. It's not as satisfying as taking less pictures and then you have a 40% keep rate, right? Even though it's more expensive per picture. But if I take 36 pictures, right, and I keep, say, 12 of them or 15 of them, I think that's pretty good. And what I've found is the more I shoot with this is the higher my keep rate is, because I'm gaining experience and I'm being judicious about what I'm taking a picture of. Whereas with this, I can just keep this on multiple shots, and I see photographers do it all the time, and I do it not often, but just keep your finger down and spray, and then one of those pictures are going to come out really nice. With this one, you can't do that because you got a limited number of frames in here, and if you snap and waste a frame, then that's it. That frame is wasted. So you got to take your time. That's why it's more fun. It's way more fun. Way more fun. And I get it. And At the time, back when my father used to take pictures, it seemed like so much work. That's why I didn't bother to learn as a kid, because it seemed like so much work. But now I get it, especially going from this to this. I get why people who used to shoot with film gave up when cameras got too digital. I get it. Or got very digital, I should say. But there are people who stuck with both, and there's a lot to learn from a film camera. You learn composition, you learn if you've never shot film and you pick up a film camera after you bought your digital camera first, then you learn a whole heap of stuff, such as how does the shutter speed affect your pictures, and about ISO choice. Because once you put the ISO in here, you're stuck with it. You can override it and trick the camera into thinking you have a lower or higher ISO. But you can't just change your ISO or the sensitivity of your film. And you learn a whole heap more than just getting a camera like this and shooting. Again, I would use it for professional work, but this is the fun camera. This one is a fun camera. For sure. For sure. All right. In another video, I'm going to compare this with another film camera I have. I'm going to compare the pictures and the features. All right. Take it easy.